Motherwell. What kind of place was Motherwell used to there, she says, when I stood there, he says, it was a really tough place, he says. And there was only one street in it. He says, and the further along the street you went, the tougher it got, he says, and I stayed in the last house. The other one he used to come up with, he said he was in the Gales. He was up at the castle one day, and the Prince of Wales was taking this parade, and he's walking along and he stops the queue, he says, are you Shuey Corcoran for Fallon? And I said, a matter of fact, I'm son. He says, I'm Shuey Corcoran for Fallon. He says, but you really Shuey Corcoran? I am Shuey Corcoran, he says. He says, well, my dad says if I ever bumped into you, I have to tell you he's asking for you. Don't get it?
What he's talking there about is fair. Now, I can mind when I was just a laddie, the one days I got opened up there and I said to any blokes right across the Goth, this pub, and I was all sitting creaking around about to see the fights at Losentine. It's been great.
Doddy Fisher on the accordion. There were more wire on than were
Tied up
keys.
with cake wire.
And yet for all the fights that were the next day, everybody was pals.
There were no Fishers.
That's right.
In fact, I've seen many of one settled the next morning there now.
Aye,
Where the ball feeds.
That's right. And then,
They never
They
thought
never failed with each
cut
other.
above it was all the same. Because you had nothing on away, but nowadays it's a different situation altogether.
Tell us something about Thomasina, because she was one of the characters in the village as well.
She was lovely. I used to go with a walk with Thomasina when she worked with
in the road,
Corporea.
She's the only one I mean, she lost her eye, we had thrown a battery in the fire.
That's right, it came off fire.
Exploded.
I think Thomasina was
Yeah,
a
blue,
hard worker.
It was Thomasina Harris.
Thomasina Harris, she's a hard worker.
Toad was her own name, like Toad, Thomasina Toad.
Is that Big Judy's wife?
Toad.
Aye.
Judy's wife.
Toad.
She tells us well, Mrs. Spence,
She's telling us here
Well,
about Thomasina.
when you arrived in Stirling, Thomasina shouted from one side of the station to the other, "You're home, when do you go back?"
leave. I can mind the working in there when you talk about
Yes,
that.
I've seen her work on.
Brings back memories of that.
Going on to that, maybe about the war years and that, you were involved in the war, and Mrs. Spence was involved in the war, and to a lesser extent you were involved in the running the concert parties and things like that for Minnie Lawson, John. Could you tell us some of the stories about the war years?
Concert parties.
Well, during the war years, I can remember we used to go up to the Throws, where the Poles was buried up there, and we used to have a big Minnie Lawson and a big concert pair. We used to go up there and sing, especially on a Sunday night, and we didn't ever get paid by any money. That was always sweeties or salt stockings and things like that. We used to come out and give
I can just see you with Silk Stockings on.
You minded the Poles being bulleted up?
Yes,
Did you go up there in school?
I could mind them marching for the throws into the pit to the baths, singing like a big column with them. All marching doing singing.
But I can even mind it. Maybe you mind it, you minded the old plumman at work with McLaren in there, the wooden leg.
Aye.
Mind his name. I can't mind his name. I can mind down about we used to
But
go.
what Moore used to work down there, the Moors.
Well, that's all about the wooden leg, and he used to bring.
Finsbury House to live.
He used to bring the cattle for the fair, up from McLaren's fair, right down the Alton, right by the village here. Oh, went right through Stirling, up by the picture house, up the main street, right to the right to the market. Just go up there.
Johnny Gerrard wouldn't like.
I can mind
Johnny Kerr, they wouldn't like. Oh, my is one.
Aye.
we got caught in the pit war. All Frank Mason, but no Frank Mason, Harry Heaney, he was a pit boatman, Milan out there at 5:30 in the morning, we were night shift. There were me, Dan Bowen, Victor McHale, Ronnie Gillespie and Wally Kipwood, the five of us. And we're sitting at the pit boatman, somebody says, "Oh, Frank can't read." So I said to Victor, "Gives a bit of paper off you, but doing the bun of butter toys, between 6 articles, didn't I? And I gave it to old Frank, you know. Old Frank, "Aye, that's right, boys." Better us up. So we landed in the top. First one was waiting us was when it was the gaffer doing there. He used to stay next door to me, Wally Peterson.
Davis.
No, Davis. No, maybe his name was on it. He was still waiting us. And says, "You're up a bit early, lad, so sector, see. So, but to try and get a job, this is what I was talking about when I met Big McLaren. So me and Archie's brother Tom went down, and Tom had one or two of family this time. We were down there, and we were actually going down to McLaren to see if we got a job at the High. It was coming here the fair week.
Mm-hmm.
And the big fancy car was coming down, and we stopped, and it was Big McLaren that was in it. Where are you going to? I says, we're going in to see if there's any work, Mr. McLaren. I says, seeing there shouldn't be time for the big mill starting again. I go down and says, he mentioned the plumber's name, I can't mind his name. Went down and we saw him in the Old Boy Hotel, as he says, I start Monday morning. So we're coming back up the road, and meets McLaren coming back down again. And McLaren had stopped, he says, did you see Mr. So-and-so? I says, aye, you have to come down with a piece and start Monday morning. That's fine. He said, man, I'm just about walking away, shoot it. And by the way, he says, this will just be a trial period. I says, not tell old McLaren to stick the job up his arse. I says, we're not interested. And I tired. And Tom flew at me, and I'll go Wednesday, keep man.
I can remember a way back when the boats, the ships used to come in from Norway and Sweden with the timber to South. It was a busy place there. And the men used to work in the night shift. Men that worked in the night shift in Flint Pit. They'd do their shift in the pit, and then they'd be right down to South Alloa and had a shift emptying the boats. Then I started in the pit, I say 1926. 1928 we had a strike, 11-week strike. And it's a 4-year time right now, but we had an 11-week strike. Now, I was only 16 at the time. And they sent to Lanarkshire and Fife and Ayrshire men collecting money. I got 5 shillings and a double woodbine. That's what I got off the collection each week, you see? And I didn't smoke, so my father got my double woodbine. And I got 5 shillings. But I remember that strike in 1928. And then there were a lot of families left in then. The Baileys, Bill Bailey and his wife Maggie Ryan, and the Clydes for the first bloke, the Milneses for this, all left and went away to Canada. That would be about 1928, you know.
When you're talking about strikes, like, can we come forward to the last minor strike that actually happened in Flynn? They always had a tradition in Flynn. They were usually as the first bit out in Britain and the last one to go back. Maybe John could maybe enlighten us on some of the things that happened during the minor strike, because you were very heavily involved in that, John.
Well, there's been 3 strikes that I can remember. I mean, I can remember back away when the soup kitchens, that was there, like, when he was doing there in the miners, we often mind the soup kitchen. I can also mind when somebody got the second in the pit and they stood in the rods, they got flung at the house. So they were actually sticking in the big hall with the curtains on about them. But we were on strike after that, 72, 74, but the main strike was in 85. And Flynn was the first bit out in the strike and the last bit to go back. And at any time, we're not going to boast with us, but we hadn't one black leg all the time. We worked there in Flynn. We're never hadn't even any problems with anybody. And everybody in the pit really worked to argue the point and for to make sure that the pit was going to be here for a long time. In fact, I was just talking the other day there with Raymond Frew, and I was saying that to him. I says, maybe no in your time, but I think in time, we'll open the shafts back up again, because there's some coal in there. And they gave us £40 million for to redevelop the pit. And when they closed the pit down, there must have been about 15 to 20 years work there. And the coal was there. And the size of the coal there was about 5 and 6 feet, do you remember?
But dry coal.
5 and 6 feet.
Aye.
I mind just before you backed up there were these geologists in there, and they tell us that there were more coal still down there that was ever been took out. Ever been took out? Some coal, the seams is there.
And it was a big...
Maybe open them up once the gas goes down, because it's very good down gas.
So your technology coming along, they can take it out with 2 years and they can do a pass.
Not just that.
It's probably been left for a certain reason, Jim.
There's always
a big loss to the village.
It's a big loss to the village.
Oh, God, that's when everybody worked.
Flynn Pit lost all its sort of community style.
We didn't realise what we had lost about 2 years after it.
That's right.
And all of a sudden your club wasn't the same, your pubs weren't the
None.
same. Nothing was the same.
No.
The camaraderie was all disappeared. Used to meet in the club on a Sunday morning or a Saturday night.
No.
And it was brilliant, the party. All you talked about was a pit.
I remember Jim's father coming, he came from the next side of
Yeah, that's right,
to fill in pit as a machine when I came in. But previous to that, when I started as a boy in the pit, the machine were all Moose Morrison, it's a 4-year time right enough, Moose Morrison, all Naze Somerville, maybe some of his mine. And then the Perrys, all Walt Perry with one eye, and Big Joe Perry's his dad, Bobby Perry. They came after that. Then it was your dad came after that, and maybe about in the 40s.
Well, see,
46, was it?
before my father left the Turlockside pit it was the, that's when Anderson boys brought out their first coal cutting machine, getting a long wire. My father was the first one to use it, Turlockside.
Oh, you used to bring Ebos in that.
Because it was the same company, Alec. It was actually Russell.
I used to, when I started in the pit at first, it was Paul Russell was there. Tommy Russell. When I had boys talking about Russell,
Tubes were crying.
Tubes, that was actually his pit. Archibald Russell was his son. And Russell was his son, and he had 2 sons. He had Billy and Peter. Billy was a gaffer in the pit. And I think he only got a gaffer in the pit because he was
And then he became a manager or something. He went to the army, and he got the commissioner in the army something. And Jubes, Tommy Russell, he says, you have to cry him Captain Ken. But Peter, I can mind it, Peter, that was the younger one.
Peter was an aeroplane boy.
Peter was a great for
Aeroplanes.
the model plane. This is true. They were right in the shaft, I can mind this, they were right in the shaft. And Tom Russell wasn't to be going. Where was he? Ken, right in the pit stood for hours. Tom was doing with his son Peter, doing the part, doing the outer shoes. Playing us.
Most of these were born and brought up in Flynn, and Mrs. Spence, you actually came into a mining community. How did you find coming into a mining community?
Well,
came here?
when we came in the train, we came up from Plymouth actually, and there was a lorry waiting to take us down to Throsk, and I went by the blocks and I couldn't make out how folk lived in them because there's no doors.
I know the front, they're on the back.
I just didn't know how folk got in and out.
doing the lumps.
That's right, the doors are at the back.
No doors at the front.
They're at the back.
How did you feel when you lived in the Thrusk? Obviously, you must have gone to Flynn quite a lot. How did you find the people in Flynn in a mining community?
I liked them. I got on fine with them. They were just folk. Got on fine.
No, they were good folk in that time.
And I was very happy at Flynn School. I certainly couldn't have gone up to the high school without being at Flynn School first, because I didn't know any Scottish history. We did a lot of sums, maths, but I certainly couldn't have done any grammar, because we just didn't get any grammar.
Who was the headmaster at that time?
Gracie.
No,
No, Willie Govan.
no, it was before that. It
MacLeod.
was,
Mr.
after
MacLeod.
MacLeod.
Mr. Sinclair.
Mr.
Sinclair. There was quite a few, and then Captain Gracie came and he sorted us all.
Well, Mr. Sinclair took me half an hour early every morning so that I would catch up on the grammar. And the last lesson that he gave me, I had to analyse and parse every word in "Around the fire one winter's night, the farmer's rosy daughter sat." And I never ever forgot it.
Stood you in good stead.
Oh yes, undoubtedly.
I used to go into the school, Captain Gracie says, "Come here, sir. You don't get your shoes brushed. What about your hair? Did your breakfast?" "No, sir, we'll get back home for it."
We came up in 36. I was 12 when I came up, and I'm 77 now.
Bring it up to more modern times. Just after the pit shut down and the village life seemed to deteriorate somewhat, what is your feelings individually on the way that the village actually is now for the time that the pit actually shut?
Well, then he can't even do here a start. Then he can't even we're the strangers.
The blocks was made a community,
Aye.
close, you know, you knew everybody and everybody helped each other. We're scattered now, I mean, I've got to ask people now, who's that? I've got to ask people all the time.
Right.
Then he can't do us.
And I'm a lot younger than you, I am.
Aye, the younger, this is it.
We're the strangers.
Well, I thought when they built these new houses across to the pit, and the ones next to the pit there, so that's what would be more in the community. I was even thinking that when you see a bigger crowd in the
In the club, so was I.
but
No.
we don't see them.
Don't see them.
I mean, I come in, I think it's about 2 weeks ago, I was going to Falkirk, and I passed by in the car, and the main street was busy, and I couldn't myself, I must have counted about 23, 25 people walking down that street. I didn't know one person.
Didn't know them.
Didn't know. And what's the strange thing about it, they don't want to know you.
No.
I mean, there's many ones I've said to hello, good morning, that.
We'll speak.
They just walk by, don't want to know you.
Just the last 15 years, there's really only been one major thing actually happened in the village during that time, was the unveiling of the Miners' Memorial. Is any opinions on the likes of that?
Well, I think it was a great thing. I think I've told you already, Archie.
Aye.
He did a marvellous job there. And I couldn't hear he did the same with plain tea.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's that was really needed in the village. And often when I walk about my walks, as I go regular, you've seen me, and I often go there and look at all the boys that a lot of them you did ken.
And you can't. Yeah, well, you can't.
55 miners lost their lives above and below ground, from Hugh Jackson in 1906 to John Burns in 1965. The Miners' Memorial was erected in 1994 by public subscription to commemorate those gallant men. This was one of the highlights of the village's history, when nearly everyone turned out to remember those who had given up their lives in the pursuit of coal. The local school children played an important part in the event by dressing up and reciting some old mining songs. The Reverend Eleanor Muir conducted a ceremony of consecration of the miners' garden. The memorial itself was unveiled by the two oldest surviving miners, John Higgins and Matt Smith. The pit itself closed in 1987, and with it went the community spirit and culture that characterised mining life.
This year's Nativity musical was called The Sleepy Shepherd by Nicky Davis. 2,000 years ago in the hills near Bethlehem, there were some very busy shepherds. They had hundreds and hundreds of sheep to look after. They worked night and day and hardly ever got any sleep. what to do next. Then he saw a shining light in the sky. As it came closer and closer, he saw that it was a beautiful angel.
I must have been dreaming. You are not dreaming, I'm an angel sent from God. Wake up everyone, it's an angel, wake up. I'm here to tell you a special baby is born in Bethlehem.